You know that feeling when you're just drifting off to sleep, cozy under the blankets, and then, bam, your leg seizes up like a rusty hinge? That sharp, sudden cramp jolts you awake, and suddenly you're wide-eyed, gripping your calf, wondering, why does this keep happening? If you've been there, friend, you're not alone. For active seniors like us, especially those juggling diabetes, nightly leg cramps can feel like a cruel joke. You're doing everything right, staying active, eating well, managing your blood sugar. But there you are, pacing the bedroom floor at 2 a.m., desperate for relief. Well, here's the good news, it doesn't have to be this way. I'm living proof. At 75, I'm still hitting the golf course twice a week, walking those greens without a cart, and honestly, I feel sharper than I did a decade ago. But let me tell you, it wasn't always smooth sailing. For months, leg cramps haunted my nights. My doctor shrugged it off, just part of aging, he said, but I refused to accept that. Through trial, error, and a deep dive into the science, I cracked the code. And today, I'm sharing exactly what worked for me, no bananas required, no risky blood sugar spikes, just smart, sustainable strategies. Let's start with the unsung hero of cramp prevention, magnesium. Now, I know what you're thinking, I've heard about magnesium before. But stick with me. This isn't just about popping a pill. It's about how and when you take it, and pairing it with other habits that make all the difference. When I started taking magnesium twice a day, once in the morning with my sugar-free Greek yogurt and again before bed, the change was dramatic. Within a week, those midnight Charlie horses went from nightly visitors to rare annoyances. Why? Magnesium relaxes muscles, calms nerves, and helps your body absorb other nutrients too. But here's the kicker, most seniors are deficient in it, and diabetes can worsen that deficiency. But magnesium alone isn't the full story. Let's talk about electrolytes. No, I'm not suggesting sugary sports drinks, those are a blood sugar nightmare. Instead, I found a sugar-free electrolyte mix that I add to my water bottle. It's packed with potassium, sodium, and chloride, the trio that keeps muscles firing smoothly. Pair this with hydration throughout the day, yes, even if it means extra bathroom trips, and you're giving your body the tools it needs to avoid those painful spasms. Now, let's get practical. Breakfast is my secret weapon. Every morning, I have a bowl of sugar-free Greek yogurt, creamy, packed with protein, and gentle on my blood sugar. I toss in a handful of crushed pistachios for crunch and a magnesium boost. No bananas? No problem. Pistachios have nearly as much potassium as those yellow guys, and they won't send your glucose soaring. Plus, they're delicious. But here's where things get interesting, intermittent fasting. I've been fasting 14 to 16 hours daily for years, not for weight loss, but for metabolic flexibility. By eating within a window, say, noon to 8 p.m., I give my body time to repair itself. And guess what? This practice has indirectly helped my leg cramps. How? By stabilizing insulin levels and reducing inflammation, which can otherwise irritate muscles. Now, fasting isn't for everyone, especially if you're on certain medications, but if your doctor gives the green light, it's worth exploring. Of course, none of this works without movement. Golf keeps me active, but I also do simple calf stretches before bed. Just 2 minutes of gently pushing my toes against the wall while keeping my heels planted. It's like telling my legs, hey, we're in this together, no surprises tonight. 7. Now, you might be wondering, but what about dinner? What about bedtime routines? That's where we're headed next. Because the real magic happens when you layer these habits, hydration, nutrients, movement, into a daily rhythm that works for your life. Imagine slipping into bed tonight, not with dread, but with confidence. That's the goal. So let's keep rolling. Dinner is a crucial part of the puzzle. For me, it's all about balance and timing. I aim to finish eating at least 3 hours before bedtime. This gives my body time to digest and helps prevent acid reflux, which can sometimes trigger leg cramps. My go-to dinner? A piece of grilled salmon, packed with anti-inflammatory omega-3s, a generous portion of steamed spinach, magnesium, and a small sweet potato. The sweet potato provides complex carbs that help stabilize blood sugar overnight, potentially reducing the risk of nocturnal hypoglycemia, another potential cramp trigger for us diabetics. But here's a tip that's been a game changer. I add a sprinkle of sea salt to my dinner. Now, I know what you're thinking, isn't salt bad for us? Well, In excess, yes. But a pinch of high-quality sea salt can actually help balance electrolytes, especially if you're active or it's been a hot day. Just clear it with your doctor first, especially if you're watching your blood pressure. After dinner, it's all about winding down. I've found that stress can tighten muscles and contribute to cramps, so I make a conscious effort to relax in the evening. Sometimes it's reading a good book, other times it's gentle stretching or meditation. I've even started using a foam roller on my legs before bed. It's like giving myself a mini massage, and it seems to help keep the muscles loose overnight. About an hour before bed, I have my evening ritual. A cup of caffeine-free herbal tea, chamomile is my favorite, with a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar mixed in. Now, the vinegar might sound odd, but hear me out. Some folks swear by it for cramp relief, and while the science is still out, I've found it helps me. Maybe it's the acetic acid, maybe it's just the ritual, either way, it works for me. Plus, some studies suggest it might help with blood sugar control overnight. 5. Now, let's talk sleep position. I used to be a die-hard side sleeper, but I noticed my cramps were worse in that position. So, I've trained myself to sleep on my back with a pillow under my knees. This keeps my legs slightly elevated and seems to improve circulation. It took some getting used to, but now I sleep like a baby. One more bedtime tip: keep your feet warm. Cold feet can sometimes trigger cramps, so I wear light socks to bed. Just make sure they're not too tight. We want to encourage blood flow, not restrict it. But what if, despite all these precautions, you still get a cramp? Don't panic. I keep a bottle of tonic water by my bed. The quinine in it can help relax muscles quickly. Just a small sip is usually enough to do the trick. And if that doesn't work, I get out of bed and do some gentle stretches. Usually, that's enough to ease the spasm. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one more crucial piece to this puzzle: consistency. These strategies work best when they're part of a daily routine. It might take a week or two to see results, but stick with it. Your body is adapting, learning new patterns. And remember, what works for me might need some tweaking to work for you. Listen to your body, and don't be afraid to experiment, within reason, of course. Let's recap our key strategies. 1. Magnesium supplementation, twice daily. 2. Sugar-free electrolyte drinks throughout the day. 3. A balanced breakfast with Greek yogurt and pistachios. 4. Intermittent fasting, if approved by your doctor. 5. Regular, gentle exercise, including pre-bed stretches. 6. A balanced dinner, eaten early, with a pinch of sea salt. 7. Evening relaxation routine. 8. Proper sleep position and warm feet. 9. Emergency relief strategies, tonic water, stretches. But here's the thing, and this is important: while these strategies have worked wonders for me and many others, they're not a substitute for medical advice. If you're experiencing frequent, severe leg cramps, especially if you have diabetes, it's crucial to talk to your doctor. Sometimes, leg cramps can be a sign of more serious issues like peripheral artery disease or diabetic neuropathy 1. Your doctor can run tests to rule out these conditions and make sure you're on the right track. Also, if you're on any medications, especially for diabetes or blood pressure, check with your doctor before making significant changes to your diet or starting a fasting regimen. Some medications can affect your electrolyte balance or how your body responds to fasting. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into why these strategies work, especially for those of us managing diabetes. You see, diabetes can affect our bodies in ways that make us more prone to leg cramps. High blood sugar levels can damage nerves over time, leading to diabetic neuropathy. This nerve damage can cause a range of symptoms, including increased sensitivity and pain in the legs and feet. 1. Moreover, diabetes can affect our circulation. Poor circulation means less oxygen and nutrients getting to our muscles, which can increase the likelihood of cramps. That's why the combination of gentle exercise, proper nutrition, and hydration is so crucial. We're not just preventing cramps, we're supporting our overall health and managing our diabetes more effectively. Let's talk about hydration for a moment. When we're dehydrated, our blood volume decreases, which can lead to poor circulation and muscle cramps. But here's the tricky part for diabetics: high blood sugar levels can cause our bodies to lose more water through increased urination. So, we need to be extra vigilant about staying hydrated. That's where the sugar-free electrolyte drinks come in handy. They help replace not just water, but also the crucial minerals our bodies need to function properly. 4. Now, about that intermittent fasting I mentioned earlier. While it's not directly related to leg cramps, it can have some interesting benefits for diabetics. Some studies suggest that intermittent fasting can improve insulin sensitivity and help with blood sugar control. By giving your body regular periods of rest from digesting food, you're allowing it to focus on other important processes, like cellular repair and reducing inflammation. 6. But remember, fasting isn't for everyone. If you're on insulin or certain diabetes medications, fasting can potentially lead to dangerous blood sugar drops. That's why it's crucial to work closely with your healthcare provider if you're considering this approach. Let's circle back to magnesium for a moment. This mineral is a powerhouse when it comes to muscle function and cramp prevention. It helps regulate muscle contractions and relaxation. But here's the kicker: studies have shown that people with diabetes are more likely to have low magnesium levels. This is partly because high blood sugar levels can cause the body to excrete more magnesium through urine. 3. So, for us diabetics, getting enough magnesium is doubly important. It's not just about preventing leg cramps, it's also about supporting our overall health and potentially improving our blood sugar control. Some studies even suggest that magnesium supplementation can improve insulin sensitivity. But here's a pro tip: not all magnesium supplements are created equal. I've found that magnesium glycinate is easier on the stomach and better absorbed than other forms. And remember, more isn't always better. Stick to the recommended dosage unless your doctor advises otherwise. Now, let's talk about sleep. Quality sleep is crucial for everyone, but it's especially important for those of us managing diabetes. Poor sleep can affect our blood sugar levels and insulin sensitivity. And guess what? Leg cramps can seriously disrupt our sleep. It's a vicious cycle. By addressing the leg cramps, we're not just avoiding pain, we're potentially improving our overall diabetes management. That's why I put so much emphasis on my bedtime routine. The chamomile tea, the gentle stretches, the proper sleep position, it's all part of creating an environment conducive to restful sleep. And when we sleep better, our bodies are better equipped to manage blood sugar levels and fight inflammation. Speaking of inflammation, let's talk about diet for a moment. While we've focused a lot on specific nutrients like magnesium and potassium, it's important to remember that an overall anti-inflammatory diet can be beneficial for both diabetes management and cramp prevention. That's why I love my salmon dinner. The omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish like salmon have powerful anti-inflammatory properties. But it's not just about fish. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and berries are all great anti-inflammatory foods that also happen to be rich in the nutrients we need to prevent cramps. And the best part? These foods generally have a low glycemic index, meaning they won't cause rapid spikes in blood sugar. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, and it might seem overwhelming. But remember, you don't have to implement everything at once. Start small. Maybe begin with increasing your water intake and adding a magnesium supplement. Once that becomes habit, try incorporating some gentle evening stretches. Gradually build up your routine, paying attention to how your body responds. And here's something crucial: keep a journal. Note down what you eat, your activity levels, your sleep quality, and any instances of leg cramps. Over time, you might start to see patterns. Maybe you notice that cramps are more likely on days when you skimp on your water intake. Or perhaps you realize that they occur less frequently when you do your evening stretches. This kind of self-awareness can be incredibly empowering. Remember, managing diabetes and preventing leg cramps is not about perfection. It's about progress. There will be good days and bad days. The key is to stay consistent and not get discouraged. Celebrate the nights when you sleep soundly, free from cramps. And on the nights when cramps do occur, remind yourself that it's just temporary. You have the tools to manage it. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize something important: you are not alone in this journey. Reach out to your healthcare team regularly. Share your experiences, your successes, and your challenges. They can provide personalized advice and adjustments to your care plan as needed. Consider joining a support group for people with diabetes. Sharing experiences and tips with others who understand what you're going through can be incredibly helpful. Plus, you might pick up some new strategies you hadn't thought of before. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of a positive mindset. Yes, managing diabetes and dealing with leg cramps can be frustrating. But focus on what you can control. Celebrate the small victories. Maybe you went a whole week without a cramp. Or perhaps you found a new healthy recipe you love. These are all steps in the right direction. Remember, you're not just managing symptoms, you're taking charge of your health. You're building habits that will serve you well for years to come. And that's something to be proud of. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Sip your chamomile tea, do your stretches, and settle into bed with confidence. You've got this. Here's to nights of restful sleep and days full of energy and vitality. Sweet dreams, my friend.